Right, welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast with Cam here today. I'm gonna do a bit of a dive into job management software. Probably get a little bit of a series happening here. A little bit of a dive into it. Have a bit of a conversation around job management software. Now, obviously, there's multiple job management softwares that are out on the market and available. I'm not going to sit here and push a particular one. I feel that depending on the type of business that you have and the type of work that you do, that that will then naturally sort of push you towards a particular type of job management software. And I think they're all great. The most common ones that we come across in Sparky Coach are going to be Simpro, ServiceMate, Fergus, Ascora, and Tradeify. So they're going to be the most common ones. Now, they all have varying degrees of, I guess, technicalities, abilities, and general user platform experience and options. What I will say is that all of them are constantly updating, making change, improving, and doing alterations to their software. Now, just probably wanted to have a bit of a look in first around the benefits of having job management software. And I guess what sort of has, I guess, driven me or sort of inspired myself to have a bit more of a conversation around this is I feel that job management software can be so helpful to your business and can be a really, really, really important tool. I just feel that we probably aren't using it to the best of our ability, and that can be through a number of I guess, different influences. It can be a bit of resistance to change. We may have overcomplicated it, maybe feel daunted by it. But what I want to encourage and have a conversation around over the next couple of pods is embracing the job management software that you have. If it's not the right one, having a look at, hey, what are the alternatives out there? Grass is always greener too, I feel. So, hey, maybe what you do have is satisfactory. It's just not being utilized in the best manner. So, first thing I wanted to dive into around it is the benefits, first and foremost. And so, this is any job management software, full stop. Regardless of what particular brand you decide to go with, or which the actual software that you decide to go with. So, what I wanted to dive into around it is, firstly, I guess the centralized management of it all. And what that means is you have the ability to have a central location to keep all of your job details. And this includes quotes, notes, any files, photos, etc., all that information that's based around the job details in one place. And I think that's really important to understand that this becomes the central hub of your business. There is also the opportunity that you're going to move away from a paper-based potentially to a digital-based job management software. The other way to look at it is you may be using multiple forms of documents. So it could, multiple forms of other software. So it could be just, spreadsheets, Word documents, an accounting software, and things like that, where this becomes a central location. So there's no mix up, there's no confusion. It's not writing it on the back of a PowerPoint box or the back of a notepad. But you have the ability to utilize it in the field as well as on the desktop. Now, a key here is that all job management softwares as well have the ability to have some add-ons associated with it. So there's a feed-in feature, generally speaking. So it can be a little bit like, oh, but I still get the phone call, I still get the message, but there's options to have a look at how you can feed that into your particular business and have a look at feeding it into your job management software. So First and foremost is the centralization of the tracking of the jobs and quotes, which I think is a really underrated feature, or maybe not even a feature, just an underrated thought process associated with job management software. And it's like, hey, everything's all in the one location. We've got all of our jobs, all of our quotes here, so we can have a look at, hey, what have we got going on? What jobs are in progress? What jobs are looking to be scheduled? What jobs have been completed? Also, too, same with quotes. Hey, what quotes are out there? What quotes have we got to send out? All those sorts of bits and pieces to be able to send them out. To have a central location to be able to observe it. Now, on top of that as well, is that it becomes a hub of this is where the centralization of the business is. So contact details, notes, files, etc. And I think we should be looking at embracing this as business owners. Like, hey, how can we make our job management software better? Now, so there's a centralization part. The other part I like to look at is scheduling. So it can be called whatever you want. You can dispatch people, you can schedule people in, you can appoint them, whatever it is. But I think what we want to be having a look at is, hey, this is actually an easier way to operate. So gone are the days of sending in a text message to your staff members late at night, making phone calls with them. It's about giving the opportunity to be able to have it in a central location. And there's an element of, hey, the responsibility, I guess, is removed to an element off your shoulders as long as you're putting the scheduling in. And it's like, hey guys, this is where you refer to have a look at where the schedule is. So hey, you want to know where you are next Tuesday? Have a look in your schedule to see where it is. So you're taking a weight off your shoulders potentially, particularly if you're doing a lot of the scheduling yourself. There's an option here to, hey, I put it in the schedule, you have access to this particular app. And I will divert slightly here for a second, is that with all the job management software, is that there's an ability to be able to create a access for your field technicians, so for your staff out in the field. So they have the ability to be able to utilize this tool, so it is to the best of their advantage. They know where they are, they know what's going on, there can be preparation. So you're allowing to put some responsibility and accountability onto your team members with the scheduling side of things. Also gives you the ability, there is automation that can be set up and around it with some SMS email reminders that can go out to the client. So this can obviously reduce no-shows potentially. It can also reduce any confusion by, hey, like just confirming, just letting you know, all those sorts of bits and pieces. It also gives you the ability to be like, hey, let's have a look here. And I think this is really important. We're not making any double bookings. So it's like, oh, hey, let me just have a look first at the schedule and see, oh, hey, we're available on this day, rather than being like, hey, I can do it on this particular day. Then you go in and check that you've double scheduled. I think we've all heard Crowy's yarn around he needed to be on 2 decks at once because he was overwhelmed and didn't really have any scheduling in place at the time. This is going back 10, 15 years ago now. And was double booked, and he ended up being in the right place, but needed to be in 2 places at once. And I think we can all relate to that. You know, I've been there before where you've got notes scribbled on the dashboard, on a bit of cardboard, or you've written back to a text message and forgot to respond to it. Forgot to action that out. And then in turn, the scheduling can fall apart. The other thing I think with the scheduling as well, it gives you the ability to block out parts of it. So if you've got a job that's going to take 5 days, for example, it gives you the ability to schedule it in for that time frame. To know that, hey, we can't do any other works within that particular days, or it gives you the ability to stage it out so that, hey, if you're a bit of a smaller team, you have the ability to be able to, hey, we're going to do 3 days here, gives us the ability to do some other jobs for the rest of the week, and then we'll go back and finish it off at a later date. The other thing too, what it does is it can also help with upcoming scheduling. Hey, we know we've got a job coming in around November, for example. Let's block it out for the 2 weeks that we have. Now, they may not be the final dates, but if we're forecasting and looking forward, we know, oh, hey, that job's got 2 weeks somewhere within that period, and you can communicate with the clients in that particular way. Now, the other thing I think with the scheduling side of things that's really, really important is it gives you the ability to cross-check in to see, hey, where have the guys been? Where have your technicians been on what jobs, what times, and where have they been? And I think this is a really underutilized feature, which I want to dive into a little bit further, is that rather than creating I guess the responsibility falling on your shoulders of, hey, where are the technicians at the moment? It's, hey, what did you do on Tuesday? It's like, oh, hey, no, we know you were there because you scheduled that in. So that's a bit of a benefit, I think, is around the scheduling side of things. Another benefit is, I guess, faster and more accurate invoicing. Technicians can complete information on the jobs. That gets real time put through to the actual job. So then you have the ability to be able to, I guess, convert the information on the job and be able to invoice it out faster. I think, if you're looking at the old paper days, we used to write out job cards, we used to have to wait until we would actually physically see each other or physically return to the office. So I think there straight away it creates efficiencies. There's no coming back and forth to the office. There's no going out to site to get the information and picking up the job card. It's just in real time transfer through data. The materials that can be captured on the jobs through purchase orders. Purchase orders are raised on that particular job. That material is automatically transferred in to the job itself. So then in turn, we know what jobs were used on that particular, so we know what particular material was utilized on that job. And I think obviously a massive, massive influence on every business is the cash flow. So the faster we can invoice out, the faster we can move our invoices from our work from being in progress to completed to getting invoiced out to having money in the bank, the more consistency we can have around our business. So the invoicing part's really, really important. The live materials and supplier inventory, material tracking, however you want to, I guess, describe it. A couple of key points on here is that you can link your suppliers in with your job management software. So that particular supplier's inventory can be put into your job management software and live feeds can be happening. So where this is really benefit is you create a catalog of the material that you have from your suppliers. So you've got a live feed of all that material. So from a quoting point of view, allocating to jobs, etc., you have that information there without having to go search for it. The prices can be updated. And the other thing too is the live feed that can happen on the purchase ordering supply side of things. So that material can come in on a back end through a purchase order and it ends up on the job. So you don't have to manually enter it in. So there's efficiency picked up by less admin involved around the material allocation. So really important, get stuff on the job faster. You can have an idea of maintaining stock levels and reordering information if there's alerts that are needed. So if you want to have minimum stock quantities, you can set those sorts of bits and pieces of information up. You can also have a look at stock taking, so you can actually get a value of the materials within the business and have an idea of what materials there are there. But I think at the very, very basic level, that you want to have a look at it. Hey, how can we become more efficient? How can we save time? Sending purchase orders out to suppliers, and then the suppliers' purchase orders coming back in on the back end. I think also too, we want to have a look at, I guess, how you can work in a streamlined ness around it, if that's even a word. But I guess a little bit of, efficiency again is probably the best way to describe it. So you can get automations put in. So you can create templates, you can get follow-up sorted, you can get reminders, you can create compliance forms. All that, I guess, set up on the, back end or automation side of it can help standardize the offerings that you have to clients. So, hey, we're sending the quote the same way. We are completing the job the same way. The invoice is going out the same way. The template information documentation is going out the same. All those sorts of bits and pieces can help streamline the way you operate your business and creates efficiencies, which is what we're always looking for within the business. Now, field communication. So this is a big one here. I feel that with the mobile apps, It gives the ability for the field staff to access the jobs. They can upload photos, create purchase orders, find out what the job description was, ask questions, get information that they're looking for, create compliance forms potentially, uh, add to their schedule, alter their schedule, clock in, clock off out of jobs. It creates a ability of putting an element of responsibility out in the field, but also getting real-time data and real-time information back. It also gives you the ability to update on the back end, so in the office side of things, and that it gets transferred straight across to the field by updates. It gives the ability to adjust their day and be able to get the information in there in a real-time sense. This is probably an area I'm going to dive into a little bit further in another pod, because I'm quite passionate about the field communication, because I see too many people who aren't using the capabilities of the field, which in turn is just creating more responsibility back on you as the business owner, or in the admins, and creating more admin work for you rather than having a look at ways to make things easier for you. I would say overall too, there's a way that we can look at our job management software that we can create a better customer experience overall as well. Potentially can create a more enjoyable experience. It could increase response times. Gives the ability to create accurate scheduling and accurate quoting. Helps with follow-ups. Helps with alternatives. You have the ability to copy, alter, or make adjustments to quotes on the fly that are really straightforward to be done. It allows you to create some professionalism around the documentation and templates to overall probably increase the customer experience just through a bit of technology and a little bit of customer experience overall. There's also other benefits to job management, I think, that we can dive into a little bit more. There's obviously some compliance that you can have a look at with your safety management side of things. There's pre-audits, post-audits, pre-starts, post checklists, all those sorts of bits and pieces which you can automate into your business so that they are mandatory before and after jobs, can create a level of accountability, can also create a level of, hey, we're making sure that this is occurring in a mandatory sense to help with our compliance side of things. And I think also too, we can look at it in a sense of, hey, how do we help? How can this help my business overall? Now, a couple of common things I guess we come across with job management, or I come across in particular that I find is there's a little bit of a struggle sometimes with the embracement of it all. Now, this can be from the field, so there's a resistance to change. It can be through, hey, a lack of understanding or knowledge around it. I think there can be an element, and I probably find this the most, I would say, is that overcomplicating the basics to begin with, which then in turn can create some discontent or also create a inconsistency in the usage of it. We can also have a look at, I guess, the non-use of it around, like, oh, hey, I'm just not going to use it, or we're skipping steps, or I'll do that later, rather than looking to utilize it in the field, because the opportunity in there allows us to capture it in real time and capture it to make sure, hey, that job has been done and dusted. Now, I really want to encourage everyone to embrace their job management software. It's there to help. And I think we need to challenge ourselves and ask, hey, what areas am I struggling in? What areas am I having a challenge in with my job management software? Is there a way to strip it back and make it less complicated? Have I overcomplicated it just by trying to do bits and pieces? Have I got my basics set up correctly to be able to utilize it to the best of my ability? Now, I've been exposed to a number of job management softwares, and I can say that they're all going to be extremely beneficial. It just that probably needs to be a little bit of embracement around it of, like, hey, how can I utilize this best for my business currently? And I think that's a really important question to ask yourself. How can I use the software to best help me at my current stage of business? Now, yes, there may be 30 features that look amazing, but do I need to be using them at this point in time? What are the things that I need to do to get my job management up and running so I can utilize it best for my business? Now, going to dive into a little bit more of that in the next couple of podcasts because I feel really passionate about this because I know that people who utilize it to the best of their abilities gain the best out of it. So, in summary, here, or wrapping it up, I want you to ask yourself, how am I utilizing my job management software currently, and how do I want to use it for now? Right? What steps do I need to put in place, or what things do I need to do to be able to get the best out of it? If you're not sure on what to do, or hey, need some, I want to have a discussion about it, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to have a discussion about it. Could talk about job management all day. And I also know that there's a few other lads in the platform who would love to have a conversation around it because they've seen the benefits of the benefits of having it within their business. So looking forward to talking about job management a little bit more. But on this note, just want to leave it here. Have a think about how you can get the best out of your job management software, and what do I need to do now to be able to make that occur. So thanks for tuning in as always. Talk soon. Catch up.